Hey there, Megan Jansen with Employee Wellness Solutions Network. I'm still on a mission in talking to several professionals in the health and wellness industry, specifically corporate health and wellness and health promotion. Today I have the honor of speaking with a very knowledgeable lady, Dr. Mary Ellen Rose. Mary Ellen, you have a PhD in health promotion from American University. You've been doing this for a long time, 30 years in fact. You've spent lots of time doing wellness coordinator at the US Department of State is your most recent post. So share with me a little bit about how you're doing, what you're up to. I know that you also wrote a book. You're also an author, so share with me what's going on.
So what I've been doing is basically what I did a couple of years. My most recent position was as the wellness coordinator at the Department of State, and what my position there required was that I set up a database generation system because they were not tracking any of the information about their wellness efforts, and that was one of the biggest mistakes most companies make, is that they implement a wellness process and then they don't have any review at the end of it to see whether or not it's effective. And so the first thing I did when I got in there was look at, well, what data do we have? What are we interested in learning about these employees in our programming? And then moving from there. So one of the objectives I had was, rather than try and be the wellness person at the 52 installations that we have across the DC area, not to mention all of the embassies around the world, was to set up wellness committees at each of the different annexes. And so the challenge is finding the enthusiasm in the employees to add to their daily workload to be a wellness coordinator. And so for me, the strategy was to get them excited about the programming that we had available. And I worked with the federal insurance companies that provide health insurance for all the federal employees, and got them to see what can we provide for free in regard to education, programming, and planning. And we had some great lunch and learns and really boosted the amount of lunchtime exercise classes and after work exercise classes, so that people started to see we were more than just a computer experience. You know, most of the insurance companies provide somewhat of a wellness computer experience, but I just do not agree that that's the most effective way of improving the wellness of employees. So
it's like that face-to-face or that relationship building that us as well believe is such an important part. Get away from all the time thinking about the digital experience. It's that people to people really drives engagement.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so funny because the research is usually ahead of the curve. When they started doing telephonic coaching, the research showed, before anyone caught on, that that was not going to work, that people need that person-to-person interaction. And I saw it in real time with the employees at the Department of State, because they just wanted to know somebody cared about them. And I became the face of that project, which I was actually, quite frankly, shocked that it would expand so quickly with such a large population. And they had had frustrations in the past, so it was good to have a positive experience for them that made them want to continue getting healthier on their own. You have to give them an internal incentive. You can't constantly throw money and activities and prizes at people without asking them, well, what do you want?
Love it. Well said. Is that intrinsic motivation? You have to try to kind of build that fire, fuel that fire, so to speak, in people, so they want to change. Yeah. And they want to adopt healthier habits and healthier behaviors. Yeah. Mary Ellen, you wrote about this. You do have a passion in comprehensive health promotion, which is music to my ears. Share with me a little bit about your book and some of the model that you came up with.
So when I was doing my doctoral work, what I was tasked with was looking at a global model that we could work off of the International Institute for Health Promotion, which was American University's model that they were using at the time. So I did an expansive literature review to say, so what are the common variables across the globe, and where is their consistency in the research? And then I wanted to make it simple enough so that a person could take that information and actually empower themselves to get healthier. So I created this model because I like things simple, and it's called PIECES. And PIECES is an acronym It's PIECES, and it's an acronym for the 6 areas that I found are invaluable in health promotion. And you've heard them all before. I just put them in order, and it's physical, intellectual, emotional, community, environmental, and spiritual. And so by focusing people on each of those sort of silos of variables, they're better able to move forward. So let's say, for instance, in stress management, if I'm stressed, and I use the hand to explain to people why we have 6 pieces. So if you're stressed, the first thing you're going to look at, am I stressed because I'm hungry or tired, or I haven't had any exercise? Your exercise, nutrition, and your rest are the 3 things that we focus on in physical health. So you use your thumb and you go, am I feeling good or am I feeling bad? If I'm feeling bad, then I know it's because of my physical lacks. So then the next thing is intellectual. I have to think, what is stressing me out? Do I understand what is pushing that physical response of stress? Because if I don't understand it, I can't do anything about it. The third is emotional, which is, international symbol of a bad. Yeah. But the thing is, with emotional, it's the biggest finger, but when you add intellect to it, it obviously creates a better symbol, right? So I talk about how emotion drives stress. We're having a stress reaction. You have to intercept that and introduce cognitive reasoning so that you can actually take care of what's driving the stress. The next finger is community, and that's your ring finger, which symbolizes relationships. So the community aspect just talks about, is the stress coming from a person? Is that person causing an emotional reaction? What can you do to change the person and the emotion so that you can have a good physical reaction? Because you have to return to calm, right? So we're always talking about the body. And then the next finger is environmental, and it's the smallest finger, but it represents the largest group of variables, because environmental is everything around you, both natural and synthetic, that we rely on to relax, reduce stress, or change our health. And then the last area is spiritual, and that is your why for being healthy. So I can do all of these things, but if I don't have a personal intrinsic why for being healthy, then all of this is useless. So we move through them and we say, think about your body, think about your mind, think about the emotional drivers, think about the people that are involved in the situation, think about what you can do in your environment to change it, and what is your reasoning for wanting to be stress-free. And those are your pieces: physical, intellectual, emotional, community, environmental, spiritual.
Awesome. I love that. And it's so easy seeing it on your hand. What a great tool. And I'm sure you've had great feedback about that model. It's awesome. We talk about wellness, illness, prevention, reaction. What are your thoughts around the preventative piece versus obviously waiting, until someone is ill, either physical or mental illness, and then disability claims go up? I mean, we talk about this whole piece on health promotion, but it really does have to take on that preventative stance. Yes?
Yes, it does, absolutely. And this is the thing that is the most frustrating, because in health promotion, our objective is to get the employee or the company to understand, what can you do about your health? So from the company's perspective, we say, what do you do for your employees in regard to health? How do you, what kind of food do you have in your cafeteria? What kind of stress are you imposing on your employees? What about your relationship management with the employees and with the management that's obviously in charge of them? What kind of environment do you have in the workspace? Are you looking at the ergonomics of the workspace? So we're really, and what is the culture? So I'm really, again, I use that pieces model to go over and over and over again with the corporations about, what are you doing? And then you look at the employee and you say, well, what are you doing to take care of yourself? Do you know and understand on your level what your body needs to be healthy? So do you know your genetic predisposition toward disease? If you have a history of hypertension, are you taking care to check where your hypertension levels are? Are you having your blood pressure checked? If you have a history of diabetes in your family, are you taking care of the things that you need to take care of? And the thing is, with personal health and preventative health, is if you don't know it on your own, I can't help you. And neither can your doctor. I mean, if the thing is about health promotion is people are afraid when they have a symptom. So if I find a lump in my breast, the last thing I want to do, if fear is my driver, is to go in and have that mammography, because what if it is cancer? And what do I do then? And what are the, gosh, it's going to cost me a lot of money because our healthcare is so expensive and I'm just not ready to deal with it and I'm going to be dead. And the next thing I know, so you have all these questions running through your mind, and so it stops you from getting the care you need. Mm-hmm. So when we look at prevention, we're really looking at what can we do to sort of take care of ourselves today to prevent short, easy things to solve from moving forward. And breast cancer is one of them, but there are simple things like getting your immunizations. There are things like having your blood pressure checked, checking your weight. Again, with the diabetes, if you're predisposed to it, if you're in that pre-diabetes state, then you have to watch your diet, because you don't want to cross over into a full-blown diabetic. And all of that, quite frankly, is within the power of the individual. So,
I love that. And we talk about individual empowerment and providing as a wellness coordinator or program director around some of those tools and strategies to help individuals take control of what they can do for their own health. I think it's so important. And then that transcends into that culture of caring through supportive leadership and management. And then we're starting to see some really great things happen. Mariella, what are some challenges that you see in this industry?
I think the challenge is we're always talking at people instead of with them. We are constantly throwing things at them, whether it's programming, informational materials. We ask people to jump through all of these hoops, but we never give them the power to say, you actually have the power and the ability to keep yourself healthy. And it's very, very simple. Diet, exercise, rest. Do you understand what you need? And how can I help you take care of those things? Mm-hmm. As opposed to, we're having a weight loss session, and we're having a diabetes awareness week, and we're having a bicycle contest, and all of these things that may not appeal to the employee, and the companies are spending a fortune implementing, but they're not making any change whatsoever. And I think that's where the industry really sort of messed up a little bit, is they
threw everyone into a box and said, let's throw this at people and hope to goodness people engage, where they've missed that individual attention. And I think that is definitely a piece. And in Canada, there's now more of acceptance, evolution of good wellness programs offering health coaching. So that provides that individual attention to help those individuals with some of that health management, so to speak, dealing with all these different resources and games out there that you just spoke about, and really giving them the confidence to make decisions on how they can feel better. And I think if it can kind of connect everything together, it's only going to be a successful program.
Yeah, and we went toward marketing. I mean, it was like this marketing blitz. In America, we had the Affordable Care Act. Money went into health prevention, and all of a sudden, all these companies came out of the woodwork saying, we can help you prevent, chronic diseases or manage chronic diseases. They had no science background, most of them. They were just sort of capitalizing on an incentive provided by the federal government, and it's frustrating for those of us in the science of it, because we know what it takes and to really improve health. And again, it just goes back to, what does the individual know what they're capable of doing, and just addressing that directly to them. People want to know their employer cares about them. That's the bottom line. And I don't need you to give me all kinds of prizes and incentives. I just need you to care and understand what I need to be healthy. And for some people, it may be an office environment, their desk, their ergonomic setup, the color of their wall, the lighting. Those things make a huge difference, and there's such low cost to change. I just think that it's wildly overlooked.
Awesome. Very well said. I'm going to give you the final word. Any final thoughts as we wrap up our chat? I could talk to you for hours about this exact topic. We share a similar passion in this and similar language, certainly. What are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are you know, globally, everybody has an innate ability to take care of themselves. We all know what we need. And globally, companies want to have healthy employees. And it does not take a big marketing effort to make that environment healthier for your employees. Listen to what they want. Do not throw programs at them. Ask them what they need. Listen to what they're saying and go forward from there. It is so easy, and it does not cost a fortune to help your employees be productive and healthy, good, happy people.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Mary Ellen Rose. It's been a pleasure chatting with you and learning all about what you're doing, and continue to do the great work you're doing.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate the time. And again, my book is called Getting Healthy by the Pieces, so feel free to look it up. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to talk to anybody.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.